Hello, and welcome to this AirMagnet Mobile Tools Sales Enablement Training Module. This is Module 1, the Product Overview. Please note, this training course contains confidential and proprietary information. This material is only intended for NetScout employees and authorized training partners. No part of this training course may be reproduced without permission or shared with anyone other than authorized users. Let's first look at the basic wireless lifecycle pitch. Wireless is no longer an add-on network. It is now the means by which employees connect to their corporate network. Owning and keeping a wireless network functioning is about more than just the occasional configuration changes. It's a lifecycle. So let's look at this lifecycle a little bit more. As you might imagine, it all starts with planning. What do I want from my network, and how am I going to achieve that? Where should the APs be placed to enable me to get the functionality I need and run the applications I want to keep my business running? A good plan starts us off the right path. Now let's look forward. I have my plan, and I actually have the installers in the building hanging my access points. But how do I know it's actually set up the way I intended? How do I ensure that neighboring APs or other interfering devices aren't compromising my performance? Well, I need to verify the network. Verification gives me the comfort that my plan is what is actually executed. So now everything is working, so it's tempting to think I'm done. But in reality, I'm not. Like all things in life, something will eventually go wrong. And when it does, how do I fix it? How do I get to the root cause on problems? I need tools to troubleshoot and analyze wireless. Finally, as I've gotten used to troubleshooting my wireless network, it's often good to move beyond simple reactive troubleshooting and instead move to a more proactive model, something that will help me to catch when things are trending badly so that I can address it early before it starts impacting my users. This is where real-time security and performance monitoring comes in. Everyone who owns or is planning on deploying a wireless network is somewhere in this lifecycle. And these days, that's virtually every customer you will talk to. And the great news is, NetScout has AirMagnet tools that you can sell to them to help in every stage of this lifecycle. This particular series of modules will focus on our AirMagnet mobile tools for planning, verification, and troubleshooting and analysis. There's a separate set of courses that will focus on the AirMagnet Enterprise solution for real-time security and performance monitoring. Now let's talk a bit more about the opportunity. Everyone needs wireless tools. In our company survey, we found that 30% of companies still are using back-of-the-napkin style estimations when they do their plans. 40% of companies aren't performing true validation to ensure their network is performing the way they expected it to. 20% try to troubleshoot wireless by looking at packets, and oftentimes they give up on the problem. And 60% don't know if RF interference is the main cause of the issues in their network. All of this adds up to lost time and lost money. You're in a great position to expose this lost money and show your customers that with a small upfront tool investment, they'll be ready to manage their network in an efficient manner. So how to recognize the opportunities? Well, anyone who's currently buying APs is a good target. If you know of a customer who's buying, and maybe you're the one who's selling it to them, ask how they're planning their deployment. How are they planning to verify it? Site surveys are an industry best practice. In some way, shape, or form, one of these activities will happen, and that's your in. If they say they're using an outside source, like an SI, get the name and call on them. If they've got this job, their business may be increasing, and they may need to expand their tool set as well. And as we said, things will always go wrong, so anyone who already has a wireless network is a target. How do they deal with issues when they arise? How do they get visibility into their wireless? Find out what they're doing for troubleshooting, and show the value of having good tools. Once you've hooked them with the particular phase of the lifecycle they're in, expand the opportunity by introducing the rest of the lifecycle. If they're just rolling out their wireless now, then they probably haven't even begun to think about what they'll do about troubleshooting. If they're more in a steady state looking at troubleshooting tools, they may not have really thought about what they'll do the next time they need to ramp up a new site or upgrade their technology. You bring it up and then sell them on the need. In any phase of the life cycle, the key concept is that they are saving time and money. A new deployment is very expensive. Let's look at a very simple deployment, say 25 APs. That access point may cost them about $200 apiece, with additional installation costs, cabling, and labor of another $100 each. Likely they've got a controller, with controller licenses as well. That's adding in at least another $150 per AP. Just with these simple costs, they're already looking at over $10,000 just to install the network. And remember, they're going to run their business over this network. Downtime costs money, real money on a minute-by-minute basis that people sit idle, unable to do their job. It's easily worth another few $1,000s up front for these folks to ensure that the deployment goes right and that everything works as expected. Troubleshooting takes time as well. The more time spent, the more money wasted. Not deploying things right or not troubleshooting things accurately doesn't just cost them money, it can cost people their jobs. This concludes the AirMagnet Mobile Sales Enablement, Module 1, the product overview. Our next module is Module 2, Wireless 101. Thank you for your time and attention.